what's happening? Welcome back. Now, I think today's gonna be the day. I think we're gonna be able to get this thing running. So, I've got mounts turned up from Liam. I've got 3 batteries now, all the same. I might get them on charge. We're gonna plug 75 volts into this Stormcore and see what happens. And yeah, let's get into it. Right, so if you haven't seen my last video, it's all about how we got to this stage here. I was waiting on mounts and stuff like that. So go and watch that one if you haven't checked that out already. Hopefully that 3D printer isn't too loud and you can't hear it humming away and all that. Now, these mounts are from Liam again. He does some awesome work, batteries, mounts, all sorts of stuff. These things just look so fresh. So let's get them on. Right, so I just did that side, but once it was on there, I realized that the Radium logo was upside down. So I had jumped ahead and rushed into it and didn't check, but there's actually left and right. So I threw that one on this side and that's just on there loosely for now. You know, I Loctited these ones because I knew I wanted the motors on the highest angle to give me the best clearance, the motor clearance. So I Loctited those ones. But everything else I've left for now. You know, I've still got to set belt tension and how far in or out the truck I want it. So now that I've breezed through that one, I'll show you how to do it on this side. All right, so first step is to grab the mount, find which way it fits on nicely. Easy enough, you'll notice it doesn't fit on. So work out which way it goes. You want the machine flat side facing outwards because that's the way that this is gonna mount onto it. So first step, wind the grub screws into them just till you just see them, but they're not poking all the way through yet, just till you can see them. Find your mount, work out what sort of angle you want your motors on, and then you've got your Allen key bolts and your nuts. So these go in from this side, goes on there, through this side, and then the nut over here. So once the nut goes in far enough, it actually locates in there, and then you don't need a spanner on the other side. You just use your Allen key. Obviously leave them loose until you get them all in there. Wouldn't hurt to use a bit of Loctite on those, just to help things stay together. Once you've got them together, they slide straight on there. Now, you'll notice where the grub screws are, they're slightly recessed out, and that's because you get these little, I think they're stainless, or there's these little plates that will slide in there. So the grub screws actually push on that plate, which then push onto the truck. That way you don't have little tiny grub screws trying to screw into alloy that wears away. You've got a full stainless plate sitting against it, squashing against it. So that's a really good design. So you put the mount on there, you slide 2 of these little stainless plates in each side. All right, so that's there. Next step is chuck the wheel on. All right, so next step is we can move the motor mount as close as we can to the wheel or wherever you want it set. I want it nice and close you know, set out as wide as possible, and I'll tighten those grub screws up slightly, making sure those little stainless plates are pushed all the way into their grooves. And I'll just nip up one grub screw. That looks really good. I might actually go ahead now and pull out all the grub screws and Loctite them and lock that off there. That's exactly where I want that to run. Nice and close. The motor will go through here. Yeah, belt, it'll look really good. Loctite on, that's all nice and tight. Whack this motor on it. So they're nipped up gently. That's all tight. That's exactly how it's gonna be. I'm waiting on pulleys and hopefully I've got enough belt selection there that I'm gonna make something work. I'll just finish this side, get the Loctite on the grub screws, and then this side will be ready to go as well. And yeah, it'll be finally time to plug in and do a motor detection. Everything's mounted, everything's in there, 3 batteries, it's all hooked up, wires are just zip tied out the way. I think it's time to finally plug it in and see what happens. That's a good start. Lights are on, everything looks good, and turn back off. All right, I'll grab the remote that I can make sure it's paired, plug it into the computer, and we'll go from there. All right, so being 18S, I've never tried this before. I'm just gonna go straight into setup, FOC, and yeah, see what happens. It's weird, this detection results are only saying motor current at 36 amps. It seems quite low. I'll set up the input. Now I change both ramping times to 0. That's just what I'm used to. I always set up current, no reverse with brake, finish. All seems to be working pretty smooth. Nice. All right, so I've got the batteries on charge. I changed a few more settings on the computer. I don't have the right size pulleys for what I'm gonna run, but I do have some tiny motor pulleys, so I'm just gonna whack them on for now and at least get this thing moving and see what it's like. All right, so it's working. I'm gonna take it for a really quick rip and just see how it goes. It's got the completely wrong gearing on it. I'm just gonna zip tie them wires up out the way and yeah, see how we go. All right, well that was sick. It's so torquey. I don't know if that's just because the gearing is so low at the moment as well. It just feels like it's too much, but let's clean them wires up and I'll wait for the right pulleys and we'll take it for a good proper ride in the daytime. So last night I charged the batteries up and I just left it where we were, and I thought I'm gonna take it for another ride, and with this gearing I can't even hit flat out without it just shredding the belts. Instantly it just wants to skip the teeth. The acceleration is crazy. It's so good. I'm gonna wait for the correct motor pulleys so we've got the right gearing. I might fiddle around and clean up these wires while I'm going. And I also have this turn up in the mail, the Hoyt Puck. This is an expensive remote, and at first I was wondering why it was so expensive, but after using them cheap remotes, and you press this thumb wheel, it feels so good. It is so direct, or I don't even know how to explain it, but it returns so good. It's not flimsy, it doesn't flick, it just is solid and perfect. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the puck goes for comfort after a while. So yeah, so we'll get the puck hooked up and we'll clean some wires up. Well, it's been a couple of days now. I still have no pulleys. It's been raining outside and I know I'm leaving you guys hanging, but I'm not gonna get any ride footage on this video again. So at least next time, all I'm gonna have to do is whack the pulleys on, whack some belts on, and I'll be able to get plenty of good shots out riding it, give it a good test, give the Hoyt puck a go, and yeah, really give. Alright guys, so after I finished editing this video, I just adjusted a few things, got, you know, the belt line a bit nicer and stuff like that. Did a few little test rides, and the any spark switch died in the Stormcore. So it's no longer working anymore. So I only probably did about 5 Ks on it on 18S, 5 kilometers. That's probably like 3.5 miles or something like that. Turned it on and off about probably 5 or 6 times in the end, and it's, yeah, she's dead. It's just not working anymore. So I've sent an email off to LaCroix. I'll let you know on the next video what happens, warranty, how they get back to me, how long it takes, and yeah, so it's a bummer, but hey, what happens? So thanks again for watching this one, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.